Welcome to the Women Empowerment Podcast. I'm your host, Ebonnie Rowe. We are firm believers that we rise by lifting others. The podcast is a platform for women to share their personal stories and experiences, trials and triumphs, to have their voices heard, to promote, inspire, and motivate other women. We want to share the journey of women leaders and entrepreneurs from all industries and sectors who've made an outstanding impact on our society and empower others to do the same. And today we have one of those women, Iris Simpson. Good morning, Iris, and thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Ebonnie. Thanks so much for having me.
Iris is a fixture on the Toronto fashion scene for over 20 years. Born in Jamaica, immigrated to Canada in 1958. She's a graduate of the fashion school at Ryerson, which name has now changed. The first Canadian Black woman buyer of international designers and so much more. And her relationship to the Women of Empowerment Awards is that she's a 2022 finalist for the award for mentorship. So congratulations on making it to the finalist stage.
Thank you.
And we start by talking a bit about that, about mentorship, about the importance of that to you, who has mentored you, how do you do that in your own day-to-day life?
Okay, well, I firmly believe that famous saying. I think Kamala Harris is one of the people that stated, "You may be the first, but make sure you're not the last."
Yeah.
So I always openly embrace helping people in so many ways. But my mentorship has always been bringing someone up, whether I was in retail and finding another, especially Black woman, to bring into my space and give them an opportunity. And then, of course, my years of teaching. One thing I must say, I know in my bio, I said over 20 years. Actually, it's over 40 years.
Wow.
But
yes, over 40.
Yeah. So I part of my career has been an instructor with the Chang School at TMU. Mm-hmm. And that's almost 17 years of teaching. And I mentored my students and brought them into the industry. I taught them fashion styling. So that mentorship was really, really important, giving them an opportunity, exposing them to, different contacts and keeping those contacts alive. I just the other day, worked with one of my students that was in my class like 8 years ago. So I think it's really important to open the doors and give them an opportunity, as I was given a great opportunity in my career path. So it's just giving back.
Can you talk about who has mentored you in your early days, and particularly women?
Okay, so one woman that mentored me was back in the 80s. I was working at Eaton's as a manager in one of the designer areas. It was actually called the Signature Shop. And I met Christine Griffin, who at the time was the head of the Paris buying office for Eaton's. And we had a few conversations, and she gave me a fantastic opportunity to move from Eaton's, which was a fashion destination at the time, but to the new Hazelton Lanes, and help open the Yves Saint Laurent boutique. And it was the first freestanding store boutique in Canada. And that was so exciting to move into this realm of luxury and designers, an iconic brand like Yves Saint Laurent. So she mentored me, brought me into that space. And that was, a long time ago, 40 years ago, and we're still in contact and friends.
Oh, that's
today.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And what do you think, because not everyone is willing to help bring someone up. And some people think that by aiding in some people's success, that somehow it diminishes their own or impacts them. Some people are very strange about that. And I wondered if you had ever encountered that, and what you think it was about you that inspired her to want to put that effort to help bring you along.
Well, quite frankly, I think she was quite taken, the fact that I was a young Black woman and I was managing the designer boutique at Hazelton Lanes. And I think she just liked the way I presented myself. She actually told me that, confidence, and just, she said it was my aura, actually, that
Wow.
she gravitated to. And I think the boldness walking into her office and, telling her my story and, of how I got into fashion and, my time at the time it was Ryerson Polytechnical Institute. So I
Mhm.
think, when you show yourself, your true self in an enthusiastic way, I think people feel that energy and want you to, want to propel you into, their space.
It's a wonderful thing to find people who will be on your side and who are rooting for you to win,
That's right.
in a genuine way. So you
Exactly.
mentioned walking in boldly and telling her your story. So let's talk about your story and how did you get inspired? Was it from being a little girl that you loved clothes, and how did it all begin?
Actually, I always feel that I was born to be in fashion. My mother was a seamstress in Jamaica, which is
Mhm.
where I was born. And she always made all of our clothes, and my little dolls had dresses to match mine. So my mom was a very fashionable person, and I think I just grew up seeing her dressing nicely, whether it was going to church or an event. And she taught all the girls in the family to sew. So I had that within me. I remember in high school, I'll tell you a funny little story. I was always a rule breaker. And when I was going to high school at the time, you wore a skirt. Now I'm dating myself. But I was the first to wear a pantsuit that you were allowed. I was the first to wear jeans. I was the first to wear hot pants. So I was always breaking the rules, and I always loved fashion. So it was just something within me, and it was just a natural to go on and take a fashion course at the time at Ryerson Polytechnical. I also had a sister that moved to New York in 1969, and I used to go and visit her in my summers. So that exposure to New York, which at the time for fashion was miles ahead of Toronto. So she used to send me newspaper clippings at the time, all the fashion writers, and just going into Bloomingdale's and all the different places, going to see Fashion Fair, that fabulous
Right.
fashion show that the Johnson family of Ebonnie produced, and seeing all this wonderful, designer wear on beautiful Black models. So I had a lot of inspiration to, go forward in fashion.
So when you started at Ryerson, what were you thinking in terms of what would be your job coming out of it? Did you want to be a stylist, a designer? What was the plan in your mind?
Well, when I first went in, I wasn't sure. The first year, you sort of did both merchandising and design. And I
Mhm.
thought more about, because I was a sewer, I made all my clothes. I thought more going into that end of it. But we also were exposed to little fashion shows, and I would help put them together at the school. We would wear the designers' outfits. And I thought to myself, I think I want to be behind the scenes more. And, I'd started working at Eaton's, and I thought, I want to be in retail. So just seeing all the opportunities that could open for me already, at Eaton's at the time. And, I went into the management training program. So I felt I would be more of a merchant and do the merchandising.
Right. And what is the favorite part for you about fashion and about what you're doing now?
Well, fashion's always changing. There's never a dull moment. The new designers coming up every minute, and especially now with social media and Instagram, the doors are open. I tell this to a lot of young people all the time. You have a platform already ready-made for you. It's so much easier to expose yourself. But I love all the changes that are happening in fashion and the fact that people are becoming more conscious. There are more Black designers getting chances. More people are very conscious about the environment and sustainability. And things are really, really changing. A few weeks ago, I had the opportunity to see a trailblazer, Beth Ann Hardison. She
Yes.
was in Toronto, and she has really worked hard to empower and to change the trajectory and bring more diversity in. And just seeing her journey and how far we've come, there's still a lot, more to happen, but things have changed in a great way, and they're only getting better. And I find fashion it's so exciting right now because more people are becoming a part of it, and it's not
Right.
just this little clique. It's opened. It's more diverse, and it'll continue to be. And so many young people, so talented, doing so many great things around the world. So it's a very exciting time.
I know that you attended the awards last year and there would have been a lot of fashion. I'm interested to know, how did you decide what your own look was going to be, and how was your experience at the awards?
Okay, I thought of what I was going to wear, and power pink, that's what I called it. I wore a beautiful pantsuit. I love pantsuits. I was thinking of getting, a gown. I thought, I'm a modern woman. I'm going to wear a pantsuit and I'm going to wear power pink. And pink was a huge color. It still is. Valentino, the famous designer, did a whole beautiful bright pink collection. So I felt great in it, and I felt it showed my boldness. So
Yes.
I really felt good about it. The event itself was fantastic. Ebony, I was so honored to have been a finalist because there were so many wonderful people that, had been nominated. And it was just a great feeling to be in that room and see all these amazing women. And I tell you, when my picture went up on the screen among the other three finalists, it was just a great moment to have, the presenter, my little blurb, and people, responding really well. And I just felt really good to be there and to be recognized.
That's amazing. Um, in terms of what you feel about women empowerment, what does that mean to you? And can you give us some examples, or people, women in your life who are inspiring and you think, yes, or, how they go about through life, it's inspiring and empowering for you?
Yeah, many women have empowered me. And right now I'm working with the Fashion History Museum, and there's some fabulous women on the board there from different walks of life, not totally a fashion background. And it's empowering to see people that are giving time to, to teach people more about fashion, Canadian fashion, international fashion. The Fashion History Museum has pieces from the 1800s to the present, all different collections. And every year they put on a huge exhibition. So it's very exciting. Right now, the exhibition is on for Cher and her years, the entertainer Cher, her
Right.
years. And she was such a fashion person herself.
An
So
icon.
very empowering being on the board with women that, are breaking the norms. And then, of course, I have to mention Christine Griffin. I mean, it's a 40-year association and great friendship that we've had. And I think to myself, how she empowered me as a Black woman going to Paris and Milan and in these spaces, being the only one there, and feeling so amazing, and having her introduce me. And there were times, Ebony, when people thought I was a fit model, and she was
course.
really, yes. She said, Iris is not a fit model. She's the buyer. She's, got a huge responsibility here, because they weren't used to seeing people like me in those spaces. So she always
Like a model.
that's right. This couldn't be someone that's responsible for, $5 million. So I also have many people that inspired me, and my family. My sister.
You're one of 8.
Yes, I am.
Youngest of 8.
I am. Can you believe it?
More can your mom believe it?
That's right. Another person that inspired me greatly is Marcy Ian. She's now a
I
member
love
of
Marcy.
Parliament.
Yes.
Yes, and she's such an inspiration. I mean, just watching her career from being a journalist. She's also a former Ryerson. That's when she went, alumni. And someone like that, that's just broken so many barriers and is so kind and so willing to help so many other women.
Yes.
I can't say enough about her. She's amazing.
Right. One of the things that we like to do in the podcast, more than just showing these amazing women, all of their achievements, is also to help other women who are aspiring to get to where you are. Share maybe a struggle that you may have had and how you got over that. Because it's not just, ooh, today I'm this, and ooh, there's a
Right.
lot along the way. And I think it's encouraging for people who are having challenges to know you will get through, and we all have them.
That's right. And being positive really, really helps. I mean, I must say I was very fortunate, but I had some events that happened that could have really diminished my journey, and it didn't. I mean, I faced some racism. I had people, saying to me they wanted to speak to the buyer, and when I went out to speak to them, I mean, the look on their face, like I was an alien. They didn't expect to see a Black woman in those spaces. But you have to educate, and you have to know that you deserve to be in that space, and you just have to show the person that they have the problem, not you. Another business problem I had, when you're buying collections, there's certain times they just don't sell for whatever reason. You're spending a lot of money, and you're responsible for the buy through and the sell through. And you have to believe what you did was right, and the reason you bought these pieces, and it was just a fluke in the whole fashion cycle, and not to feel that next year when you go on the buy, it can't be amazing. You've got to stand up for yourself, and we all make mistakes, and I'll learn by them.
Do you have go-to people if you're having a tough day? It's like, I'm going to call this person, or I'm going to work out, or I'm going to go for a walk. What are the things that you do in your life when there's a challenge?
I love flowers.
Yes.
Maybe that's why my name's Iris. I'll just buy a big bouquet of flowers. I'll work in my garden. I do little things to calm me. Of course, I'm very close with my sister. I've got many, but the one that's I'm very close with, and she, we'll just have conversations. And you know what, Ebony, a lot of times when I'm having a bad day, and I tell this to some of the students, I look back at people that have really struggled in the past, And I always try and remember what they've gone through and think, you know what, Iris, you've got it easy. So I try not to dwell on that sort of thing. I mean, go for a massage, things like that,
Yes.
anything to make you feel better. But just, you know, I'm the type of person, Ebony, little things make me happy. If I go out and buy a big bunch of tulips and put them in a vase, it puts a smile on my face. So
For me, it's Julie mangoes.
oh, they're the best.
I'll go down to Kensington Market and I'll see them and I'll buy 20 and they might be gone the same day. So
Oh,
I am with
wow.
you. Very simple things. Oh, the sun is out today. Great. I'll find
Right.
something every day to be
Exactly.
uplifting.
Yeah,
Are
exactly.
there any affirmations that you have, any mantras, any quotes that you live by, any philosophies?
Well, one quote I live by all the time, and it's a very simple one. I always think about it, and I always think the best is yet to come. You know, tomorrow's another day. There are going to be new opportunities, and there's always more. And I think if you really feel that, another thing I always say, you deserve to be here. If I was intimidated, you know, many times in my life, being the only person of color in a room or the only woman, I wouldn't be where I am today. So you have to believe you deserve to be here, and you're worthy. The best is yet to come.
Absolutely. One of the most important questions that I personally want to know is, when are you clearing out your closet?
You know, that's a big thing now. People are having closet sales, and I really should do that. I've given away a lot of my pieces. Sometimes I regret them because when I was a buyer, you also got a clothing allowance, which was really amazing. So you
Right.
wanted to represent the brand. So I had fantastic pieces. I still have many that I'll never part with, but that will happen probably one day.
Okay, so put me on your giveaway list
Okay.
on the top of it, and know that if you change your mind, I can consider it as a loan and I'm happy to give it back to you.
All right. I'll
So
put you at the top of the list.
awesome. That is great. Did you have any parting words that you'd like to say to the women out there, to the nominees of this year's Women Empowerment Awards?
Well, this is such a wonderful opportunity. Share your story and just know that you've been nominated for all the amazing things that you've done, and keep empowering the others that are coming up, and breaking that glass ceiling.
Absolutely. Well, this has been a great pleasure. The time has flown way too fast. Thank you so much for your time. And we want to remind the audience out there that there are still tickets available for the 2023 Women Empowerment Awards coming up on September 22nd. Go to the website, tell your friends, call Iris for some fashion advice, get your cute fit together. It's going to be fantastic.
It will be.
So thank you
Thank you
so
so much
much.
for having me, Ebony. What a great talk. I can't believe it's over already.
Me neither. We have to do a part two.
Okay. Thanks
All right.
again. Take
Take
care.
care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.